I never had any idea when I started a relationship with Bible Prayer Fellowship back in February of 1988, the blessing that it would be to my life. We had two great revivals in our church, one in 1985 and one in 1987. And as a pastor, it was just crucial to me that I knew how to follow these moves up. And we agreed as a church that we wanted to follow everything up with prayer. At that point, God directed us to Oliver Price, and I visited him out in Dallas area. And then, on February of 1988, he was engaged to come to our church to talk to us about prayer. And so, in a conversation with him over the phone, I said to him, "Oliver, what are you going to speak on?" And he said, "I'm going to speak on Jesus Christ, obviously present and actively in charge." And you know, I'd been a student of revival for years, and I'd sought for different answers, and you could ask 100 different people of the definition of revival, and you'll get 100 different answers. But when Oliver said, Jesus Christ, obviously present and actively in charge, that focused for me. I said, that's it. And so that began a relationship that now has gone on for 25 years, and it's made such a huge difference in my life. It's made a huge difference in my family and in the churches and in the leadership that I've been able to give to others. I think there are three key things that I gleaned from this ministry, and I was thinking today, out of all the people who invested in my life, I really feel like BPF has been number one. I realized the foundation of the other things that had to happen in my life before I got to this point. But for 25 years, I've been mentored in this whole approach to ministry. And it's just absolutely anchored my soul. So I would say that I could summarize the value of Bible Prayer Fellowship for me in three statements. Number one, it's provided for me a clear definition of revival. You know, and I say this everywhere I go. I say, Jesus Christ, obviously present and actively in charge, is the answer to everything. It's the answer to a joyful marriage. It's the answer to a successful church. It's the answer to a joyful life. And so it's provided just a clear definition. And I say to churches, if you will let Jesus Christ be obviously present and actively in charge, you will find that everything that needs to happen in your local church will happen because He is building His church. It's grounded solidly on Matthew 16:18 and Peter's confession and Jesus' response to him to build His church. The second thing it's really done for me is it's given me a paradigm for ministry. In other words, I heard Oliver say to me one day, we have to change the paradigm. We have to get back to the original paradigm. And the original paradigm is learning how to cooperate with Jesus as He builds His church. And so it's provided for us a paradigm of ministry, and I've carried that wherever I've gone, whether I've been the leader or whether I've just been a speaker on scene. And I will say that it's provided for us the authority to do what we do and the power to see lives really change. The third thing I would say that Bible Prayer Fellowship Ministry has done for me in this process is that it's given us a purpose for prayer. You know, methods come and go, and you can do sentence prayers, and you can do scripture prayers. A lot of methods, and I think we have to be wise in how we implement those things. But the key thing, a lot of people are asking, does prayer really work? Is prayer really worth it? And so when they begin to understand that we are directly connected to this delightful and wonderful Jesus Christ, it gives them a reason to pray. And so then they come and they say, this is not just going to be an organ recital here about somebody's pains and aches. It's going to actually be a conversation with the head of the church. And so because of that, you're able to see people motivated in prayer and see answers to prayer as we start praying for the inner man first, praying things like that we would be filled with all the fullness of God. So I sit here today very, very grateful for the ministry of Bible Prayer Fellowship. I will continue to preach this message. I believe it has given hope to us. It has given accountability to us, which is desperately needed in our day. And it's, for me, it's just broadened my life in a great fellowship with people who enter into the same understanding. So I say thank you, Bible Prayer Fellowship. I will be preaching this message until the Lord takes me home.